Let me ask you this: when I walked into the what was your thoughts as a person when you look back at our relationship? Like, what was the most surprising to you about me, like that the people would like to hear?
Yeah. So and this is completely different than this podcast right now, because I'm shocked that you're doing the podcast. I love it. I love it. I've watched the other one.
Me
I
too.
love it. Yeah, but you were extremely reserved and quiet.
Right.
So nobody, yeah, I don't know. Back then, and maybe a little bit, I'll be honest, a little bit to the detriment of the team as well, because if you're stepping up as a leader, you're the best player on the team, obviously, and we needed that at the time. But back then, so I'd say you're quiet, humble, but genuine, man. I mean, there was no fake. There was no fake. You're just gonna say it the way it is, and your energy, man. When you say energy, so I think about this too, and I thought about it in the past. So once we got actually into the season, what I was most shocked about, especially with it was just you, really, because you play freshman year, you played a lot. I mean, you started in lineup, the minutes, obviously start culminating game after game after game. And especially in preseason, you come back and play a hard practice the next day.
Right.
I was dead ass tired in practice, and here you are still going after playing the night before.
Right.
And that was the most. I was kind of shocked. I know on the personal side of like, I see you. We're bullshitting or whatever. We're just talking in the dorm room, and then we're going over here and we're playing, and it's just like you had endless energy. Like it was kind of like hey, do you sleep? Or are you gonna get some? You're always playing Nintendo or whatever the case was there. But yeah, man. I mean, I was shocked really by honestly your energy, being able to come back the next day. Right, you have a good night playing in a game, and then you're coming back next day in practice too.
Right. I agree with what you just said earlier, man. You said that my demeanor was as a detriment to the team, and I don't even mean that in an aggressive way. But when I look back, hindsight 2020, you have so many thoughts in your head. You know what I mean, as a player, as a person. But that atmosphere and that team, for me, it wasn't the time to express it. I just didn't. It was for one reason. It was like, you say I had energy, but I was exhausted. You know what I mean? It was like, So it was like, man, I can't become this verbal and vocal guy when I got to focus on running through screens, or I got to focus on hitting the big shot, trying to take the big shot or making the big play, or just being an integral part of the team. But when I look back, I wish I would have did that. I was like, because it was in my head. It was like, man, I need to say this to Luke, man. I should say this to Wrecker, or I should say this. Even when we talk about the transfer, like when we talk about the guys who left, I wish I would have turned around and had a conversation with those guys, because I didn't know at the time we had a hell of a class. I mean, you think about it, our sophomore year, our starters could have been me, Neil, Luke Wrecker, Jason Collier, and Andre Patterson. Like, that's a Big Ten title championship team.
You got Charlie coming off the bench.
And you got Charlie Miller coming off the bench yourself. You got who else? Mike Lewis coming off the bench. You got I think, is that the year? Yeah, they had recruited Rob, and I don't know if Rob Turner and Will would have been there if these guys would have stayed there. I'm not sure if that was the time, but my sophomore year, I think they was there. They were there. Rob and Will Gladys was there. So you just have a myriad of talent, but when those transfers happened, I didn't really know anything about it. Like they were already committed to transferring before I even knew about it. Yeah. So that's the one thing that we look back is like, man, and I'm looking at championship teams and teams that are really good. They all have cohesiveness as a group. They all liked each other. They all hung out with each other. They all, even if they weren't the closest of friends, they had a boundary. They were good people to one another. So that I agree totally with you when you say, man, I could have been a lot more vocal than I was. And it wasn't
maybe just you, but I think it would have helped. I don't know if it would have been the difference maker, but I know it probably would have helped a little bit. It like you said, it was a lot of tension going on. It was a fractured from start, right? With what happened with Neil and the kind of the domino effect.
Yep.
Neil, then Luke, then Collier, then Luke, and it's just year over year it kind of culminated there to you just do the best that you can. It wasn't as though we weren't working our asses off.
Right.
doing everything possible, lifting, conditioning, playing, practicing. I mean, that wasn't the case, but yeah, you as your personality, you've come out of your shell now. We'll say
Right.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.